You could chew on the fresh mint leaves to freshen your breath. Um, and it's such a powerful, potent herb that I feel like is underrated. I like to use it as a stimulant. So instead of coffee, I would drink some peppermint tea if I need that extra pick me up, or just a little boost. Or even having the peppermint essential oil, like when I drive long distance, I always keep that in front of me, and then just putting a drop of my hand in it together and healing it real quick.
Yeah.
It gives you that instant pick me up, and so I don't need the caffeine. I can get that quick pick me up through the aromatic nature of the peppermint. So fresh peppermint tea, and it's an easy herb to grow as well if it's something that you wanted to do for your garden. So it's something I always suggest having on hand. So, and of course we know it's good for the stomach aches and nausea and all that great stuff. Um, what else? Chase tree berry, also known as vitex. This is a little more complex, but for women, I feel like this is something that we should be doing more often on a daily basis because it is a great hormone balancer, and so it works for all stages of womanhood, from your early stage, premenstrual to menopause. So it works across the broad spectrum for women, and so because it helps to reduce prolactin, which is a hormone. It helps to keep your estrogen and progesterone levels
Mm.
balanced. And so, especially in the African American community, we're dealing with a lot of womb issues, which is more my specialty with women. So, your fibroids, your endometriosis, infertility, and stuff like that. Your chase tree would be really good to help deal with, and it also helps to reduce hormonal mood swings. So those sisters that may be dealing with PMS or anything like that, and for the women who are now in that Crohn stage of life, it helps with the menopause and that type of stuff, the hot flashes and stuff like that. So doing a Vitex, you can do it in a tea. I prefer it in a tincture because it's a little more bioavailable for the body in a tincture form. You just put a few drops of it into your water. Um, so it's one of the powerful um, herbs that I feel is underrated that the African American community don't know about. A lot of the white women community, they know about it, but us African Americans is something that we are just now discovering, and I feel it's something that we need to take a little more heed to and start using a little bit more, utilizing more. So I actually make my own Vitex tincture that I sell, and I have my clients on it, and it's helped a lot of them tremendously with PMS symptoms and hormones and menstrual cramps and all of that great stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
So, Queen, how do you spell that? So, is you said Chase Tree Berry?
it's chase tree berry, or it's also known as Vitex, Vitex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Wow.
welcome.
So we got two more. So
Another, yeah, red raspberry leaf is the next one,
mm, uh-huh.
and it's one of my favorite herbs. It's a uterine tonic herb.
Yeah.
Again, most of my clients, they're dealing with womb issues and things like that, and most people just think it's just fibroids or heavy
Mhm.
cycles and things like that. But there's several diseases of the womb that affect us as women and as Black women particularly. But this is really good to use even during pregnancy. So because it is a uterine tonic, so those women who dealt with a lot of miscarriages and things like that, this is a really great herb to utilize as well. Um, it helps with menstrual cramps. It helps to strengthen the uterus,
Mhm.
and it stops heavy bleeding, and it also helps irregular bleeding. So those people who tend to have like scanty periods or missed periods, or even those who are coming off of birth control and wanting to regulate their bodies more naturally and not synthetically with the hormones and stuff, red raspberry leaf is a really great one to have on hand and to drink, a few cups a day. Um, you could either find it in encapsulated, which is my preference too. But it's a really great one, and it's great for children as well. So even men can drink it too. So you can make it a big picture of that as a tea for the family, and ingesting it as this for the family. Um, and the last one I would say is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a Indian herb, Indian as in India, as an Ayurvedic herb. It's really good for the nerves, and especially in this day and time when we're being bombarded with a lot of propaganda and fear and racism and hate and all of this great stuff. It's a really good nerve herb, and so it helps with the stress hormones. It helps to battle that. And in women, when we get stressed a lot, it induces more cortisol, which is another stress hormone in the body. And that a lot of that abdominal bloat and all of that comes from too much cortisol in the body. So with the ashwagandha, it will help to keep those cortisol levels down, but it also calms you out. Like it would be my prescription for just to help people mellow out, to not, and I'm saying not stress and not worry about these things that are going on, but it takes that edge off, so you're not as overly excited, or anxious, overstressed. Even if you're dealing with depression and one of that ones, is a really good herb to have.
Okay.
Okay, so they want us to share your site.
I'll do that, girl. Yeah.
Okay.
It's soulfultouch.com, ASOULFULTOUCH.com.
All right.
Soulful Touch. And ashwagandha, I had trouble with that sometimes, but I will give it a go. It's ASHWAGANDHA, ashwagandha, LTOUCH.com. Yes, Soulful Touch. And ashwagandha, I had trouble with that sometimes, but I will give it a go. It's ASH.
Is that me?
Not sure where we get the feedback.
Okay, y'all. Yeah, feedback. Hold on, y'all. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from.
Okay,
let me mute myself.
yes, Soulful Touch. Not sure. I had trouble with that sometimes.
Okay, there's a feedback, but it's not me. Is that me?
I don't have anything to.
Yeah, somebody's playing this. I don't know. That's all right. We'll get it together, family. Hold on. So let me look. I'm just gonna double check myself because it can't be me. Let's see. Nope.
It seems like it's
here. Yeah. That means that something is playing. But I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. It took care of itself. All right. So
yeah.
So
those are just 5 that I can think of off the top of the head.
Okay. So yeah, we'll share your website. That's all right. We'll get it together, family. Hold on. Okay, there it is again. Double check myself because it can't be me. That's it. Nope. What is that? Yeah. That means that something is playing. Yeah. I don't hear it anymore. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's okay. Do y'all hear that? All right. So yeah. So those are just 5 that I can think of. Yeah. Do y'all hear that? So yeah, we'll
I don't hear anything.
Your website. You don't?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Let me just do one thing real quick.
Oh,
wow. Okay. I don't know what that is, but let's just keep going because maybe I'm the only person hearing it. That something is playing.
I know that oh Lord.
Yeah, okay. It's okay.
I can hear it too.
All right, so. Yeah, okay. I just thought it was me because I can hear, but it's not me. I'm not. So can you look on whatever device you're using to make sure that you don't have anything playing?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Let me just do one thing real quick. Okay. Yeah, all of my things are closed. Let's keep going because maybe I'm the only person hearing. Something is playing. I know that.
This is a lot of
You know what? Let's do this. Dana, mute yourself. Yeah, okay. I just thought it was me because I can hear, but it's not me.
Okay, so I'll keep on pausing myself.
Let's figure this out. So Tim said he hearing it too. So we always do the muting game. Hold on, I'm gonna do something real quick. Okay, can you hear me, sis? Okay, so I don't hear it anymore. So hold on. So our sister, that's the guest. Unmute yourself. Okay, now I can't hear it still. But Dana, it has to be something that you have because unmute yourself. Dana. If you unmute yourself, you're not unmuted yet. You're going to hear it. So, okay, because you're not unmuted yet, Dana. So when you get a moment, unmute yourself, and that's probably where the sound is coming from. But while we're working on that, sis, I'm going to keep going with you because I want to make sure we get as much information from you as we can. We already at the 30-minute mark. What is, so let's talk a little bit about that womb health, because I think sometimes when you look at our infant mortality rate, if you're looking at some of the things that's happening with Black women, seeing so much violence, we have a lot of murdering of Black women on a daily basis. I do a lot of posting about that. Yeah. What kind of things can we do to help create a more healthy environment? Because you're in the whole wellness area. What can we do? There's some things we can do.
Some of the things that we could do, especially as Black women, is take inventory of our personal lives. And that means our relationships, our careers, our families, and all that great stuff. Because a lot of times, a lot of the things that are affecting us are in our environment. And then that exacerbates the problem that we're feeling physically. So it's just taking stock and inventory of those people, places, and things that are not serving us well. And it could be a toxic friendship. And when we say toxic, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to kill you per se, but it's not serving your spirit. It's just something about it that isn't working for you anymore. And that doesn't mean to totally throw it away, but it's to reevaluate it and see what is it about this thing that isn't working for me no longer, and how can I move forward with this thing still in my life, or do it, or is it something that I need to release? And so when we look at that, we need to look at the things in our environment. Do we need to tidy up? If we are feeling cluttered and our brain is just having this brain fog, look into your environment. Do you have things piled up? Do you have things stacked up? Do you have things shoved in drawers and your closet are overflowing? It's just thinking about things from a metaphysical perspective and seeing how they relate to your life. And the womb is the same thing. I've worked with clients who were trying to conceive, and they still had some past traumas from their youth, or from other relationships, stuff like that they had to heal. And so this wasn't an environment for a child to grow in. And I was like, if you think about it, would you want to grow in this place where there's not a lot of love, there's not a lot of light, there's not a lot of fertilization for me to grow in this space? You know what I'm saying? And it's something that we don't do consciously sometimes. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But especially as Black women, we've learned to suppress and just take on and take on and take on and take on and take on, and we don't clear out. And so, and we're known to be quick and snappy and bring things back from 10 years ago. Well, I remember when you did X, Y, Z. And it's like, this person has moved on. They probably don't even remember that incident that you've been holding on to for 10 years. So true. And we wonder why we come across as angry and bitter and all this other stuff, is because, if you think about things that ferment, that's what they grow. They grow in those type of environments. So if we allow these negative things and people and places to ferment into our lives, it will cause you to be bitter and nasty and those type of things. So like I said, just take an inventory of your life. And then once you take inventory, taking action, so it's like old black proverb, if you know better, do better. And when you know better, you do better. So now when you have the information, it's now to put it into action. So, just like how I gave you that list of herbs, if you're just a person who just likes to accumulate information and not put it into use, and then you run to the doctor and say, oh, I need more of this medicine, but you didn't try these herbs when they were told to you to utilize, you know what I'm saying? It becomes a process, a negative cycle. So it's just being mindful of the things that we're doing and saying, and just being good stewards of our bodies, and I feel like it's all common sense stuff. I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm very practical. So I don't like to get into a lot of esoteric things. Like, I just want people to be able to say, what is it? How do I use it? And then it gives them that opportunity to decide whether they're going to take the action or not. And so, when it comes to womb dis-ease, a lot of times it's a lot of emotional stuff that has been compacted down. Our wombs are our creative space. It's more than just creating a baby. This is our creative space, and she is our nurturer. She's our internal nurturer. And so she has taken on that role of taking on everything that you may not want to process at the time. And you say, well, I can't deal with that right now. And she was like, okay, well, hand me that. And then you say, okay, you go through this, you lose your job. And then you're going to say, okay, hand me that. And so she just takes on all this stuff, but we don't ever come back and say, hey, you know what? I never dealt with the emotions of me losing my job. I really like that job. And, this COVID thing just snatched it away from me. I haven't really dealt with that. I need to unpack that and see how I feel about that and what I need to do about that so that now I can manifest this new job, this new area, or this new career and release that. So now you made space in your womb for this, and so it's so many different things we could get into. This is like a 2-hour show just on womb health alone, because there's so many practical things that are going on that affects the health. And that's why I treat my clients with a mind, body, spirit mindset, and not just looking at the body. You can tell me your symptoms all day, and I can say, okay, yeah, XYZ. But if I walk into your house and see your interaction between you and your spouse isn't the greatest, or your relationship with your child isn't the greatest, and then I can say, oh, that may be contributing to that heavy menstrual flow. That could be this and this. Or if I open your refrigerator and see a bunch of processed foods and a bunch of sugary stuff and things like that, I can say, well, that can contribute to that too. And that's probably why you're so crazy, because you hopped up on all this sugar. So when you come down, your nerves are easily agitated. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so many different permutation of things that's this.
Right. Is it possible for you to be spiritually healthy and not physically healthy?
That's a good question.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no, because again, you can still be sound here spiritually and still intaking a bunch of stuff that's not physically good for your body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't eat McDonald's every day and call yourself meditating and saying you're taking care of your vessel when you know good and well that this stuff can lead to high cholesterol and high blood pressure and all that great stuff. So again, it's about that know better, do better adage. You know what I'm saying? So you can mean well and you may want to project that out to the world, but if your actions have to speak in that. And so if you are taking care of your mind, then the body is going to fall into alignment, and then the spirit is going to soar. So it's not an either or, it's all. You know what I'm saying? You have to do it all, and it may not happen all at one time, but it's working on them simultaneously so that they can be and operate in harmony. That's what homeostasis is doing what you need to do to ensure that your body is working at its best, and that's mind, body, spirit. So taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your spirit.
No, go ahead.
With that being said, I know one of our viewers, and me too as well, want to talk about Soulful Life. So in 28 Days to A Soulful Life, I know that that's your book. I happen to have a bookstore. I would love to carry it. But the reason why I wanted to pause, when you talk about homeostasis, is that parallel with having a soulful life?
Yes, yes. Living a soulful life is, living unapologetically in that homeostatic state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're not going to compromise that for anybody because you know what your boundaries are. You have healthy boundaries. You know what your goals are. You are doing what you need to do to ensure that your body is in perfect alignment with everything else because you're eating right, you're exercising, you're taking time off of social media, you're taking time for yourself, and then so that's what a soulful life is. It's taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, and so that you're, like I said, once you take care of your mind and your body, your soul is going to soar. You know what I'm saying? And so whatever your spiritual system is, we always know that your body is just a vessel for your soul. So if you're doing everything to take care of that, when you go to your next life or afterlife or whatever it is, your soul is the thing that travels. So if you don't take care of that, then
Oh.
it's something that that you have to do. So the book is basically 28 lessons that I've learned in my 45, hope to be 46 years on this earth. And so it has a daily lesson. It has a practical application. So like I said, I'm very practical. So I was like, this is what I learned. This is how you can apply that lesson. It has a daily affirmation, and then it has a reflection journal prompt. So you can actually dig deeper into that. So there may be something that pops up and you say, I never thought about that. So now you have a prompt to help you dig deeper into that to maybe find another solution or give you another reflection. And I just recently published the journal to the book. So then you could have a place to write down, and it has more questions, and then it has a daily check-in spot for you to check in daily with your self to see what was today's breakthrough. What am I grateful for today? What was the thought of the day that really just pushed me to the next level? Because it's easy to focus on what's not working. We all can get Grammys and Emmys for being the victim. We can play the victim to the hilt. But what about the positive things? What about the great things that's going on in life? Because I do believe that what you focus on expands. So I want to help you to find a balance, because that's not to say that bad things don't happen. It's just that you don't have to dwell in that place. You know what I'm saying? Speed bumps. Okay, you went over that speed bump. Now the road is smooth again. Now what? Now what are you going to do? So you're gonna reverse and go back over the speed bump again, or you're going to keep moving forward. So that's what a soulful life is having the tools in place for you to navigate the trials and the tribulations, as well as the triumphs and the celebrations.
Right. Okay, so you wrote on your Instagram. I'm sorry, I kind of stalked your Instagram a little bit. Now learning how to use Instagram, but and I'm gonna paraphrase this quote, but Black joy isn't a monolith. It's an exclamation of sheer wonder and pleasure while wiggling through the pain. What brings you joy? And I just wanted to engage our listeners too. Maybe we all should type in here what brings us joy, or and kind of talk about that. I felt like that was a good segue when you mentioned that we need to focus on what we do want.
Yeah. Black Joy. So this organization that I am a part of, called Girl Trek, they're doing a Black Joy Is campaign.
Okay.
And so that's where that post was coming from, and I was just trying to express, show one of the ways that I express joy. Hula hooping in the front yard is how I express joy. I'm a huge kid, so I have really embraced my inner child. I think that's what keeps me youthful. But I feel like now, especially now in these days and times where we're barraged with death and disease and racism and negativity and drama, and I feel like that has been the focus point, because I believe whoever you believe it is, they want us to be in that state. You know what I'm saying? In that constant state of fear, in that constant state of distrust, that constant state of, disbelief. And so, where is the joy? How do we find joy in all of that? How do we climb out of this place of, negativity and just, revel in the light, revel in the lightness, and revel in being happy? I saw someone post the other day that they felt bad that they were happy that their life was okay, even though there were people dying of this disease. There were people, who were losing family members, and these elders transitioning, and people dying from police brutality. And it shouldn't be a contest. Like, you shouldn't feel guilty for being joyful. That is a human emotion that we should embrace. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't negate what happened to those people. It doesn't negate that death is a part of life. That is one truth. You know what I'm saying? So it says to me that, we're being lulled into this state of just constant barrage of negativity, and I don't think it's fair to us as human beings, because I don't believe that the Creator wants us to just be in this one state. It's like it's either this way or that way. You know what I'm saying? So when I say Black joy isn't a monolith, what it looks like for me may not look the same for you. You be like, I can't get a hula hoop up. I don't like exercising, but I find joy in cooking for my family. I find joy in singing in the shower. I find joy in walking down my neighborhood. I find joy in tending to my plants. I find joy in holding my baby, my grandson. I find joy in seeing the sunrise or seeing the sunset. So it's so many ways to find that, but the thing is to embrace it and not be sad about it, and not be feeling guilty that you embody that. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know, your joy could be infectious, and it may bring that person out of that dark state because they see it in you. They say, oh man, that sister is a bundle of joy. We have those phrases to describe people. You know what I'm saying? She's a ray of sunshine. She brightens my day. That type of thing. So it's okay to embrace joy. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be sad too. But again, it's one of those places that you don't want to stay there. You know what I'm saying? You want to navigate the ranges of emotion and do what feels right for you. One of my mantras is do what your soul can handle. And so, and that's something that I live by. And so if being joyful is what your soul can handle, and you can lay down at night knowing that your joy is fueling you to get through to the next day, then do that. Embrace that and share that as well, because somebody may need to see that so that they too can learn to embrace their joy. And I feel as we as African Americans, we lead by example. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And it goes to show you how trends go, because we see one person do it and we put our own little spin to it. Oh, she put her head to the side, I wear mine to the left. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna twist it. You know what I'm saying? But it's still, you saw the template and you just made it your own. So I feel that's the same thing with the joy. Like find your joy template and rock it, and so that other people can say, oh man, if Sister Wanda could do it, then I can do it too. If Sister Dana can do it, I see Sister Dana, I see her smiling, I see her getting it in. Like, wow, I wonder what's that? Because sometimes we need to inquire, because we may not know what brings us joy, and we may find it in the same thing that you do. It's like, okay, I saw you smiling the other day. You've been happy lately. What you been up to? And you say, oh girl, I've been walking my neighborhood 30 minutes a day, and that made me feel good. Well, can I walk with you? Or maybe I should start walking my neighborhood. I'm gonna grab my grandkids while they over here and they can walk with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so many different ways to explore that. And I just want to show people that it's okay to be joyful and to embrace that joy, so that we can navigate all of this craziness that we're dealing in the world and have something to rely on. And that's healthy.
Right.
Sister, what herb would you subscribe for bloating? Like if you have a lot of bloating, period, if you have a lot of bloating or swelling in your legs and stuff, water gathering, what herbs would help with bloating?
Ginger, peppermint, cilantro, even your bell peppers, And water. Drink your water. So but I also would suggest dry brushing as well. Dry brushing the skin, and that's taking you could do what they call a sisal sponge, or push on the shove if you could use a dry washcloth and just buff the skin. You dry brush the skin, and you want to go towards the heart, but they actually sell brushes for that, and you would brush towards the heart and to get that lymph going. But also watching your salt intake as well, because a lot of times that's what the bloating is. So there's so many different permutations of why people bloat. So, but that's some of the things. But not moving enough to exercising needs to happen as well, because you need to get your lymph and your blood moving. So if you're not moving enough, you tend to bloat a lot as well.
This is some good information.
Yeah,
I needed this too, bro. And one of our viewers, and I'm sure you probably already shared it, but I just want to, I think it's notable. It's Sarah Oliveira. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, but she said, if we do not take care of our own soul wherever life we live, the need for it comes on the next life. And you know what it made me think about? A Tina Marie song. But it made me think about, and I don't know how many people believe in reincarnation or whatever.
Deja vu.
Did you want to speak to that comment? Because that's something really to consider. The fact that if we don't accomplish what we need to accomplish right now, or deal and face with the things that we need to face right now, it's going to come up again. So whether it comes up, if there is any truth to reincarnation, whether it comes up for us, in the next life, or I like to think it may come up for our children or those who we impact. So what are your thoughts about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. They say you are doomed to repeat the lesson if you don't learn it. That's actually a proverb. You know what I'm saying? So it goes to show you that, and we've all experienced it in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Be it, you say, and we say it too. We're like, I know I shouldn't have done that, because you already knew the lesson and you did it again anyway. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you haven't learned the lesson. Sometimes we have to repeat that. And we've seen it in school. When you don't do the work the way you're supposed to, or if you don't meet that level, they put you back in the same grade so that you can, ensure that you get what you need to go to move to the next level. And so it's the same thing with this lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't do what you're supposed to do in this lifetime, I'm sure you're going to revisit in some other people, regardless if you come back as an animal, as a human, as a plant, or whatever you believe. If you don't learn the lessons now, you are doomed to repeat it. And so, and that definitely applies to health. You know what I'm saying? You can't continue to use that you're lactose intolerant to still eat ice cream, but you still eat the ice cream and knowing that you're going to get gas and all that other stuff, when most people don't know that most humans are lactose intolerant. And it's not just a Black people thing. We're not cows, so we shouldn't be ingesting cow's milk. But that's a whole other show. So, so your body is not going to assimilate it in the way that you're supposed to, so you can't keep doing that and say, oh, this is this, or you are dealing with high blood pressure and you still eating salt pork and all these high sodium foods, ramen, and all these quarantine foods that people be eating that I still see people putting into their carts. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, well, I can get this thing from XYZ when you're not taking care of your general health and your body, what's making you more susceptible to any type of disease. You see what I'm saying? So we have to do what we know is right for our bodies and stop making excuses, because we're good at that, and do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. And it's simple stuff: drinking water, eating better, eating fruits and vegetables, eliminating the processed foods, exercising at least 30 minutes a day. You don't have to live in a gym. You can walk your neighborhood. I used to walk before I moved here to DC, I used to walk one stretch of road in the country right and I used to walk that back up for 4 miles every day. And I released 40 pounds. I was 230 pounds at my heaviest. You know what I'm saying? So, but I walked almost every day for a year. I did that at least 30 minutes every day. You know what I'm saying? And it was rain, sleet, snows, whatever. And it was amazing to me because my neighbors held me accountable. That day that they didn't see me walking, when they saw me the next day, they say, "Hey, where were you? I didn't see you yesterday." The school children, "Hey, Miss Kendall," you know what I'm saying? "We didn't see you yesterday." But that kept me accountable. So it let me know that, again, I was leading by example, and they may have been living vicariously through me, but I don't know who I may have influenced. So even though they may not have been walking in the neighborhood, they may exercising in their living room. They may have bought a gym membership because they say, "Wow, I see that sister's really dedicated and she's doing what she needs to do." So again, that was what I had to do for me, and it's still what I do for me. Like I know with the illnesses and things that I'm dealing with that I have to do certain things in order for me to operate at my best peak. So I learned that lesson. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, again, I wrote the book so that somebody else may not have to go through the challenges that I had to go through because they have a template. I didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wasn't sitting me down and saying, "Don't do this, don't do that." It was me learning through trial and error. So I was saying, "Hey, let me create a simple shortcut and maybe hopefully it'll help somebody not go through the speed bumps that they had, or maybe the speed bump wouldn't be as high." You know what I'm saying? So they may still have to go through it, but now something that's going to help them get to the next level.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Well, this is such a good conversation and timely one.
So is there a trinity to this though? Is it like exercise, physical workout, and spiritual wellness? Is it like some sort of a trinity that you have to apply in your life?
Yeah. So like I said, if you look at it, mind, body, spirit. So the mind stuff is, positive attitude, healthy thoughts, doing what you need to do for your mind, and that can incorporate a lot of different things too. But meditating, being present is that mindfulness piece. The body piece is drinking water, eating quality foods, healthier foods, fresh fruits and vegetables. I hate saying clean because I don't want people to feel like they're dirty. Saying clean eating, I know that's a term, but I'm being mindful of my words so that people will be in alignment with what they need. So, but making better food choices, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then exercise. So in that body, under that body umbrella. So water, exercise, and that. And then the spirit piece is whatever your spiritual beliefs are. So it could be traditional African religions, it could be Christianity, being a Muslim, whatever that is, so that you're now you do have that concept. Yeah, and doing all of that together, because you can't do one without the other, and think that you're going to have that perfect, successful thing. You have to do it all together.
Right.
How would you suggest that people deal with because so we have this thing in our culture for some of us where you hear people talk about cancel culture, because I don't think you can really cancel people. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't think, but I think it is not healthy to be connected to toxic people. So it's kind of like you could consider it being canceled, but what I do know, my brother taught me this. He said the more you keep toxic people in your life, you shorten your own lifespan, because that's a lot of energy dealing with toxic people.
Mm-hmm. A lot of stress.
It's a lot of stress to that, because when you're in toxic behaviors or environments, it really does affect that trinity.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what I talked about earlier, being mindful of your environment, and that's people, places, and things. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, like the sister said, having healthy boundaries is key. And putting on your literal and physical mask first is ideal. You know what I'm saying? And knowing who and what's right for you and your spirit, and you have to be aware of that, and just keeping people around, and that includes family members, and I'm talking like blood relatives. You know what I'm saying? You have to be mindful of those people, because sometimes they are just as detrimental to your life as a stranger or the friends that you've cultivated into your life. So being mindful of that, yeah. And the cancel culture thing I find is very problematic in that a lot of times we don't address what that person is doing. You know what I'm saying? And trying to correct that behavior as opposed to saying, oh, we don't just deal with them no more, because it just allows it for them to continue on what they're doing because nobody's checking them on that to help them correct the behavior that's problematic. And so, because that affects our community as well, because they're a part of the community, and so learning now how to have healthy relationships is key in our communities as well. And so instead of just canceling out, let's be men and women about things and face things head on and working things out and be able to agree to disagree and saying, okay, well, if that's what you're about, that don't settle with my spirit, I don't have to deal with you anymore. I don't love you any less as a person, but I know now how to handle you. And I know that I don't want that around me. And so I don't have to deal with that if I don't want to. And that's okay.
Yeah. I just know the Black woman that I'm from, always having to fix people it was shorten your lifespan. Having to always try to figure out what's wrong with you. That's not my job. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. One of the lessons that I take sometimes in other cultures that I've been a part of, that's not their job to be accountable for everybody.
No.
You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's healthy to be like, I'm not dealing with you. Like, it don't mean I don't love you or don't, whatever. But because I love myself, I cannot fix you, and I'm not doing that.
Right.
Because that shortens my lifespan. That gives me swollen feet. You know what I'm saying? Like that, that makes my blood pressure high.
And there's people who specialize in that. Yeah, and there's people who specialize in that. So there's people who study psychology and sociology and all that other stuff. Who you go sit on their couch. I don't have to teach you. You got Yala to fix your life, and all these your pastor. You know what I'm saying? People don't utilize these tools, and that's what I feel like. We don't utilize these tools. I'm sorry, Sister Jen, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I just wanted to say that we don't. It's something that we shouldn't have to shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not our job. And that doesn't mean I don't care. That just means that I'm not equipped to handle your stuff and mine too.
Right. It's not my assignment. And then also too, if you're focusing on what's wrong with someone else, that takes the focus off where you should be focusing on yourself.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think it means I don't care. It means I care so much that I ain't got time to be dealing with this. I care about myself. Because I think one of the things I've seen Black women do is love on everybody else and have nothing left over for themselves. That's why the hypertension is so high. The diabetes is off the chain. Like, this gotta stop.
Yeah, the womb stuff, they love so hard and so well, but they don't do that for themselves. And then they feel guilty for loving on themselves on the way that they love on other people. And that in my mind is like mind blowing, because I've done it too. You know what I'm saying? I've done it to the point like I almost died because of it. You know what I'm saying? Literally. And it was just like it was through a womb meditation that I had with myself, because I'm a uterine cancer survivor. And so I did a womb meditation, and my womb told me, was like, how are you able to do all this stuff for other people, but you can't take care of you? Here I'm doing all this blood to get your attention. These were tears. My womb told me that was tears. It was crying for me. So all the blood that I was bleeding out, I ended up having to have an emergency blood transfusion because I had lost more than half of the blood in my body. The doctors was like, I don't even know how you are conscious, that how your heart is even pumping, because you don't have enough blood in your body for your heart to be pumping, for us to be having this conversation.
Yeah.
So I was at that, I depleted myself to that point. And then I had a dream that I had took all the IVs out of my body and went to help somebody who called. And that was the wake up call for me. It was like, that doesn't even make sense. How can you take care of somebody else and deny yourself blood? Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't live without blood. You can live without air for a little while, but you can't live without blood. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, wow, and then I see it in, my clients, and I see it in other stuff. And so a lot of times, like I said, when my clients come to me and when I look at their consultation form, and when I started having questions with them, and sometimes I could just look at them and see, like, this ain't even her stuff. She carrying all these people's stuff and now she's sick because she can't
Yep.
even do what she needs to do. So her body's like, look, I need you to get rid of your husband stuff, your kids stuff, your mom stuff, and all this other stuff so that you can
Gotta
do
go.
what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing. If nothing else, if nobody doesn't get from this conversation is it's okay for you to take care of you. Self-care is not just painting your nails and getting your massage,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Right.
Care is saying no and meaning it and standing behind it. Self-care is taking 5 minutes unapologetically for yourself to just be still, not on your phone, not trying to watch TV, just being still with yourself and going within and asking yourself, what is it that you need? And then when you get the answer, not being afraid to ask for help. But that's the other part too. A lot of sisters suffering in silence and have resources at the end of their fingertips and they don't use it, and then they're quick to say, nobody won't help me. Nobody wouldn't understand. If I don't know what you're going through, I can't understand it if you keeping it inside. So I said this earlier this week, playing the martyr isn't cute. And we need to stop making that and stop playing the victim to wear that as a badge of honor when that doesn't have to be your truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that we have to learn and embody and put into practice and call our sisters out on. You know what I'm saying? And saying, look, sis, okay, you keep complaining about this thing. What are you going to do to shift it? What are you going to do to change it? Because it's easy to complain and complain and complain. Yep. What are you doing to shift that energy? Are you going to put him out? Are you going to confront your son? Are you going to quit this job and find something that you really love to do that's going to nurture not only your bank account, but your soul as well? It's time for us to stop settling and start elevating ourselves and living the soulful life that we truly desire and we deserve. And know that it's okay and we don't owe an explanation to anybody why we have to do this for ourselves.
Sis, that's a good way to wrap up everything you said. Everything you said. Like that's how they say that part. That's what's up. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was an enlightening conversation. To be honest, I need to hear everything you had to say.
Yes.
I'm so grateful. And I definitely want to get a copy of your book because I would love to do something like that, Dana.
Okay.
And so we just need to know how to order your book. Is it on, how are you selling your book?
So it's available on Amazon. Both books, the physical book and the guided journal, they're both on Amazon now. I do sell it on my website as well. I'm currently sold out for my last interview of the book, but I do have the guided journals on hand. So I have more of the books coming in. They should be in within the next week or two. So either way, so soulfultouch.com or on Amazon. I don't personally have a preference. My goal is to get it in people's hands. I didn't do it for the money. I did it as a soul assignment. So wherever you get it, just get it and do the work.
So Dana, are you going to carry some of her books?
Yeah, you know what? I was just going to send you a message after this. And I want to get about a dozen of them if I can, so I can carry them in the book. And it would be a good thing for Ro, for you and I to like really continue the conversation because 28 lessons and practical application.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, really, really. And it's all about growth and just really reconfirming everything that's in us. Because you know how, as you were talking, you spoke about, that you guys had lived off the land and you guys have been doing that. And it just made me think about how a lot of what we need is in us, like it's in our lineage and it's in us. And sometimes we just need these lessons or confirmations to just tap back in.
Right on. Yes, she is a gift. You're absolutely correct. If you're listening to us, please click that like button. If you're listening from Facebook, because we're on Periscope and YouTube, but if you're listening, click that like button, show your support, and better yet, go to this sister's website and order her book. She should be sold out. I feel like this is the perfect time to realign yourself. Yes. Sometimes the darkest time, sometimes for some people it's the perfect time. Being made to sit still is the perfect time. It's always the perfect time to realign yourself. And I'm saying realign, like, Like I know during this COVID, walking more, eating better, starting the garden, all that stuff worked for me. I would have never been able to do it with my regular schedule from before the COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that Ro and her friend inspired me to walk. I would have never. I'm an early riser, but I would have never been getting up early in the morning going walking. But I saw Ro and them doing it, and so it's kind of like you never know who is inspiring who, and
right.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. Yeah,
and I also want to connect with you, sis, because I want to learn more about herbs. Like I've been around a lot of herbalists, but I know I could do better. And so I started, you said something that was really key. You said starting the garden and seeing it from front to back. I mean, seeing something grow up out the ground. That's what I did during COVID in my backyard in my home. The person who had the house before me was a master gardener, and they had like a plot just for you to go to. So I was there for a year and didn't do nothing in that plot. It just was sitting there. But when COVID hit and I had all that time, I went out in the backyard, toiled, the earth, planted stuff. Now I got watermelon and cucumbers and cantaloupe and peppers, and I got everything out there, but I watched it grow.
Yeah.
And that made me kind of slow down. And that's when I started walking. I get up every morning at 5 o'clock and I'll walk for like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, depending on how I'm feeling.
Yes.
But it's been great. And my day feels better. I feel like I can plan more, see more.
Yeah.
I just feel more healthier, more alive. But I also make sure I get some good sleep too.
Good.
So the sister's asking to share her website. What's your website again, sis? I'm going to type it in here.
It's asoulfultouch.com.
Okay. I think this is it right here.
That's correct. Yeah.
Bam. Reach out to this sister, y'all. Thank you all for joining us today on Sunday Sitting with Sisters. We will be back with you all next week. Yes, you're absolutely right, sis. Gardening is therapeutic. You ain't never lied. But I know touching that earth releases something in us.
Yes.
So I'm grateful. Thank you so much, sis. I will be in touch. Peace, family. Have a great day. So hold on, sis. Don't hang up yet. Let me just close this out. So hold on. This is how we do the close out. So, all right, family. We about to get out of here. So y'all know how we do it.